The United States of America, commonly known as the USA or simply the U.S., is a large country located in North America. It is the third largest country in the world by both land area and population, with a population of over 331 million people. The country is known for its cultural diversity, economic power, and political influence. The USA has a federal system of government with a president as the head of state and a bicameral legislature consisting of the Senate and the House of Representatives. The country has 50 states, each with its own government, and a federal district that houses the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. The USA has a market-oriented economy that is highly diversified and technologically advanced. It is the world's largest economy by nominal GDP and the second largest by purchasing power parity. The country has a mixed economy, with the government playing a significant role in areas such as healthcare, social security, and education. The USA is known for its cultural and ethnic diversity, with people from all over the world living and working in the country. English is the official language, but Spanish is also widely spoken. The country is home to a wide variety of religions, including Christianity, Judaism, Islam, and Hinduism. The USA is known for its iconic landmarks and attractions, including the Statue of Liberty, the Grand Canyon, Hollywood, the Golden Gate Bridge, and the White House. The country is also home to many world-renowned universities, such as Harvard, Stanford, and MIT, and is a leader in scientific research and development. The USA has played a significant role in world events, including both world wars, the Cold War, and the ongoing War on Terror. It is a member of the United Nations, NATO, and the World Trade Organization, among other international organizations. The political system of the United States is a federal system of government, with power divided between the national government and the governments of the individual states. The country has a presidential system, with the president serving as both the head of state and the head of government. The president is elected by the people every 4 years and is limited to serving 2 terms in office. The president has significant powers, including the ability to veto laws passed by Congress, to appoint judges and other officials, and to command the armed forces. The legislative branch of government is comprised of the Senate and the House of Representatives, together known as Congress. The Senate is made up of 2 senators from each state, while the House of Representatives has 435 members who are apportioned based on population. Both houses of Congress have the power to introduce and pass laws, but all legislation must be signed by the President before it becomes law. The judicial branch of government is headed by the Supreme Court, which is the highest court in the land. The Supreme Court has the power to interpret the Constitution and to determine the constitutionality of laws and government actions. Lower courts, including district courts and circuit courts of appeals, also play important roles in the judicial system. The political system of the United States is characterized by a 2-party system, with the Democratic and Republican parties being the dominant political parties. However, there are also many smaller parties, including the Libertarian Party and the Green Party, which field candidates for office at the national and state levels. The United States of America has one of the largest and most diversified economies in the world. It is a market-oriented economy that relies on free enterprise and competition to drive economic growth and innovation. The country's economy is driven by several industries, including technology, finance, healthcare, and manufacturing. The U.S. has a gross domestic product, GDP, of over $21 trillion, making it the world's largest economy. The country is also one of the largest trading nations in the world, with significant exports in goods and services. The U.S. has a well-developed infrastructure, including highways, airports, and seaports, which facilitates trade and commerce. The Federal Reserve System, commonly referred to as the Fed, is the central bank of the U.S. and plays a critical role in the country's economy. The Fed sets monetary policy to promote price stability and economic growth. It also regulates banks and other financial institutions, provides financial services to the U.S. government, and conducts research on economic trends and developments. The U.S. has a mixed economy, with both private enterprise and government playing important roles. The government provides services such as healthcare, social security, and education, and regulates industries such as telecommunications and energy. The U.S. also has a progressive tax system, in which individuals and corporations are taxed at higher rates as their income increases. Despite the U.S.'s strong economy, it faces several challenges, including income inequality, an aging population, and the effects of climate change. The country is also facing increased competition from emerging economies such as China and India. Nevertheless, the U.S. remains a global economic powerhouse and a leader in technological innovation and entrepreneurship. The history of the United States of America is a long and complex story that spans over 4 centuries. The first European settlers arrived in North America in the early 17th century, and by the end of the century, there were 13 British colonies along the east coast of what is now the United States. The colonies declared their independence from Great Britain in 1776, and after a long and bloody war, the British recognized the United States as a sovereign nation in 1783. The country's first constitution, the Articles of Confederation, proved inadequate, and a new constitution was written and ratified in 1789, establishing a federal system of government with a president, a bicameral legislature, and a judicial branch. In the 19th century, the U.S. continued to expand westward, pushing Native American tribes off their lands and acquiring territories from Mexico, including California, Arizona, and New Mexico. The country also became embroiled in a bitter civil war in 1861, when southern states seceded from the Union over the issue of slavery. The Union won the war in 1865, and slavery was abolished. The late 19th and early 20th centuries saw rapid industrialization and urbanization, as well as the rise of powerful corporations and labor unions. The U.S. also became a major world power, acquiring overseas territories such as Puerto Rico and the Philippines and engaging in military interventions in Latin America and the Pacific. The U.S. entered World War I in 1917, helping to tip the balance in favor of the Allies. The country experienced a period of prosperity known as the Roaring Twenties, but the stock market crash of 1929 and the ensuing Great Depression brought about economic hardship and widespread unemployment. The U.S. entered World War II in 1941 after the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. The country played a significant role in the defeat of Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan, and emerged from the war as a superpower, along with the Soviet Union. The post-war era was marked by the Cold War between the U.S. and the Soviet Union, as well as the Civil Rights Movement, which sought to end racial segregation and discrimination. The U.S. became involved in the Vietnam War in the 1960s, sparking widespread protests and unrest. The latter half of the 20th century saw significant social and cultural changes, including the feminist movement, the gay rights movement, and the environmental movement. The U.S. continued to play a leading role in world affairs, and was involved in military conflicts in the Middle East, including the Gulf War and the War on Terror. Today, the U.S. is a global superpower with a diverse population and a dynamic economy. While it faces many challenges, the country remains a beacon of freedom and democracy around the world. Healthcare and education are 2 important sectors in the United States. Healthcare in the U.S. is delivered through a mix of private and public systems. The country does not have a universal healthcare system, and access to healthcare can be expensive and difficult for many Americans. The Affordable Care Act, ACA, also known as Obamacare, was signed into law in 2010 to increase access to healthcare and reduce costs. The ACA requires all Americans to have health insurance or pay a penalty, and provides subsidies to help lower-income individuals afford coverage. Despite the ACA's implementation, healthcare remains a contentious issue in U.S. politics, with ongoing debates over the best way to provide affordable and accessible healthcare to all Americans. Education in the U.S. is decentralized, with each state responsible for its own public education system. The country has a mix of public and private schools, with public schools funded through local property taxes and state and federal funding. The quality of education varies widely across the country, and there are significant disparities in funding and resources between schools in low-income and high-income areas. Higher education in the U.S. is dominated by universities and colleges, both public and private, which are funded through tuition fees, endowments, and government grants. The cost of higher education has risen significantly in recent years, and student loan debt is a major issue for many Americans. The U.S. has a robust research community in both healthcare and education, with many universities and research institutions leading the way in scientific discoveries and innovations. Despite challenges, the U.S. remains a leader in these sectors, and many Americans have access to high-quality healthcare and education. In conclusion, the United States of America is a vast and diverse country with a rich history, complex political system, and dynamic economy. While it faces many challenges in healthcare and education, as well as other areas, the U.S. remains a global leader in many fields, including technology, finance, and entertainment. Its culture and society are constantly evolving, and the U.S. continues to be a beacon of freedom and democracy for people around the world.